just begun to get our share of this world's delight. High hopes we have for the future and our goals inside. We know we don't get depressed. Here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do. You won't go wrong. Oh no, this is our family jewel. We are family. Sing it to me. I got all my sisters and you. We are family. I can hear you guys. Everybody sing. Have faith in you and the things you do. Hey, I got all my sisters and you.
Good evening, Bellevue MLL families. We're so happy you're here today with us. As you note on the screen, you'll see that subtitles are available in 7 languages. You just have to select the language under the caption and subtitle. My name is Julie Zucker. I am a teacher and I'm a professional development coach here in the district. I do speak Spanish, so please note I'll be throwing in a few words here and there for our Spanish-speaking families. Buenas tardes, gracias para acompañarnos en este foro. Nos alegra que estén aquí. Mi nombre es Julie Zucker, soy maestra y entrenadora de desarrollo profesional aquí en el distrito. We're so glad that you're here. Samantha, please go ahead and switch the slide. This is our family forum, MLL department. You are in the right spot. Okay, let's go to the next slide. We'd like to acknowledge the land. I want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the first peoples of our region, including the Snoqualmie, the Duwamish, and others. I want to honor with gratitude the land itself, the tribes of our region, and their people, past and present. Here's our agenda for the evening. Our goal for tonight is for you as families and parents and students to feel informed, supported, and empowered. We're going to show you who our team is. We'll talk about social emotional learning and why that's important, what to expect in the return to school, student leadership affinity groups. We'll make announcements about testing, which is the ELPA, schedules, graduation, and we'd like to hear from you tonight. We invite you to ask questions and share your ideas throughout the presentation, as well as through the survey that we will share with you later. Next slide, please. So if you are able to use the Q&A, please let us know, what would you like to learn from us tonight? So this visual shows you where to find the Q&A. It says ask a question at the bottom. Y no duden en escribir en español. We can understand your Spanish and answer those questions. Si prefiere, if you prefer, that's fine. And in that Q&A, we would love to see what you would like to learn from us. And when questions and comments are posted, my colleague Eric Shelton will be talking about those. So please make sure to do that. What would you like to learn from us tonight? Eric, if you have any answers, please share them. And this is our MLL team. We're so proud to work with all these wonderful people. Sharon Couts is our Executive Director of Teaching and Learning. Chithra Bardwaj is the Director of Multilingual Learners and the Dual Language Program, pre-K to grade 12. Ricardo Macias, Director of Multilingual Learners for the Dual Language Program. Jessica Stratzula is an intern as the MLL Administrative Program and the Principal Intern at Lake Hills. Gargi Tritchell is our Equity and Strategic Engagement Support Coordinator, who has collaborated with me in serving our families. So we are very happy to have all these folks on our team. And the central office team on the next slide. So Jessica's here again. She's doing a lot this year. She's our MLL developer for K through 5. Lily Martin, professional development coach. Samantha Tuan, who's behind the scenes tonight, is our ITCL. And we have Eric Shelton, who you will see in a little bit. He's an MLL developer, but he's also going to be a principal intern next school year, 21-22. You see me there. I'm a professional development coach. I'm also an MLL facilitator at Wilburton Elementary School. Jessica Mariscal is an instructional coach, dual language, Spanish. Ali Jufrida, transitional facilitator. Natalie Scharf, administrative secretary, and Supriya Unikrishnan, multilingual learner testing specialist. I'd like to invite my colleague Eric Shelton to share on the next slide, please.
So first, we wanted to share our district commitments and our vision for all of our students. And our vision is to affirm and inspire each and every student to learn and thrive as creators of their future world. And how we do this, first of all, at the forefront of everything is equity. And our initiative to make sure that everything is equitable for all students involves more than ever during this time is protecting the health of our students and staff, which is, of course, very important, especially now with the COVID situation and returning to school. We're ensuring that we have everything in place so that our students can have a safe return, and our staff as well. In addition, educating each and every student. We want to make sure that we have an equitable and appropriate education for every student in our district. And engage stakeholders, which means engaging everyone. That's our community, our families, all of you. We want everyone engaged and a part of the process and a part of the learning of our students. And then also helping to meet any essential needs that anyone has that goes beyond the needs of the classroom. So that is our vision and commitments. And then on the next slide, so our vision and hope and wants for our multilingual families. Our vision for all of you to be with us is to create parent advocacy and student affinity groups. Our voice, your voice, our students' voice is so important. And so if our goal is to empower families to work together to be a voice for change. Change comes about by coming together, talking to one another, hearing each other, letting us know what you need, advocating for what you need, what your children need, what our school district needs to support you. And also empower families to have the decision-making power to bring that change, because families have power. Families have the power to be a part of the process, and we want you with us all along the way to learn from you, to hear from you, for you to hear from us, for us to work together to meet the needs of everyone in our district.
Thank you, Eric. Chithra, I'd like to invite you to speak now.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Eric. And thank you, families, for being present here with us today. And I am going to, as your MLL director, I want to take a moment to introduce the space for this learning for today. And families are the heart of the work, and that's why we are here today. And I also recognize here that this year we all have experienced things that's going to shape our lives in coming years. And as an immigrant coming from India and raising 2 kids, I know middle school and high school years are very critical for us as a family. Raising 2 kids when they were in middle school and high school, to understand the system itself was hard. And knowing that this year has been challenging for us, I completely hear you and I completely see you. So I want to take this space to really share with you that why that families are the integral, of the most meaningful part of our learning and of our working together. This year, as your MLL director, I have taken time to learn and to work directly with many families, and through focus groups, by meeting one-on-one, And in working in partner, and also we are working in partnership with our family engagement strategies so that we can support our families and the needs of our students. So in my listening session, there are the three things that have come out again and again, and that's what I am going to be bringing it in this space. What I've heard from families, they want to know a little more about the role of their MLL facilitator. Like, who is the teacher who is teaching English to my child? And because we are going back to in the building, that question has become more prevalent because families have questioned and they want to know how I can reach. The second question that I have heard from families about the social emotional needs of their children. Like this year, a lot has been happening, but when I'm learning a new language and when I am just feeling myself isolated, it just makes the things adds up. There are many families have really come and asked that how the school can support, because I know I can help with the academics, but my kid needs more help in social interaction and being seen, having a time to be with friends. And that has been coming as a theme. And this is something we are going to be really addressing, or we are going to be really sharing with you, because families have been asking, what are the ways the school can help with the social emotional need of my child? The third thing that I heard from families is that as the students are coming back in school, what are the ways my kid can have opportunity to be a leader? What are the ways they can be prepared for the next school year? What are the ways they can be prepared to do things which they enjoy, which they really feel that they can really make a difference? So I heard this thing very clearly from families. This is what they want to learn. I have received many great ideas from families, and which we are going to share further. So listening from you has helped us to really know what do we want to share today. And the last thing that I've heard from families is, what is the plan for next year? And what is the plan for this summer? So this is what we are going to be sharing with you today about the three things that we learned from you. And as a department, we have been working with the school principals, our family engagement department, and also as a department, as you saw, we have been really working with the building teachers, and we are going to be sharing this information with you today. So thank you so much for being here. And as your MLL director and as a MLL family, we are committed to keep on listening from you and doing the best that we can by learning together. I hear you, I see you, and that work is very personal for me, because I know that I had so many questions when my kids were growing up in a high school. They have gone through this system, they have gone through their college, but it was not easy. So thank you for being here today. And please use the chat or the question answers, because we want to hear from you. And I also want to let you know that this PowerPoint is going to be available in Spanish and in a Mandarin language, and we are going to be posting it on our school website. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Thank you so much, Chithra. That was a wonderful message, and I hope to answer most of those questions tonight. Eric, back to you.
So often you may have seen this slide, and we have talked about these three pillars. Many times we refer to these three pillars as the three pillars of dual education, but it's also what we see as the three pillars of bilingualism and biliteracy. And even though many times it does refer to dual education, we believe that this refers to all of our students in the multilingual department, all of our language learners, because we believe as a department that all of our students who speak more than one language, that is a gift, that is a strength. And we want to celebrate and honor and elevate all the languages that our students speak. So this pillar of bilingualism and biliteracy, also the pillar of high academic achievement for all of our students, and then sociocultural competence. That is what guides our work, and we will always celebrate and honor the languages that you speak and that your children speak. And in the classroom, even though our goal also is for our students to learn English, it's to also learn and continue to grow in all of our languages to become bilingual and biliterate. So we wanted to always have this slide to remind ourselves and everyone that the three pillars of what we believe in, and we will have guide all of our work that we do in our district with our students.
Thank you, Eric. Our marvelous MLLs are so lucky to know more than one language, and we value them so incredibly. Let's go to the next slide, where we're going to try to answer the question, who is my student's English teacher?
My name is Mr. Jesse DeHaze, and I am a multilingual learner facilitator at Newport High School. So what are MLL facilitators and what do we do? I think that our job, our role for you and your students has three very important parts. The first part is that we are the first people that new students meet when they come to school, and we can help your student and you navigate your new school here in Bellevue. Sometimes we will help you set up your computer. We can help introduce your students to their new teachers and help make their school schedule. Any questions your student has, like maybe they want to join a sport, or maybe they want to start thinking about American universities, your MLL facilitator is the first person you can ask. And if we don't know, we will help you find the person who knows. Second part, your MLL facilitators teach English classes at every high school that can help your student feel confident and ready for a larger English class. Our classes, students get more one-on-one and small group attention. We read a lot of the same books and talk about the same ideas as the mainstream or bigger English classes, but we can go at a different pace or include our other languages so that everyone understands better. And then the third part, MLL facilitators, we do our best to work with students in every class. So if your student has a question from their social studies, their history assignment, or maybe they want to work with a tutor for their math class, we as MLL facilitators are happy to meet with your student and help get them started. We can help them communicate with their teachers for that class, and we can help match them with a peer tutor, someone their age who can help with their homework and build connections as well. So those are the three main parts of what MLL facilitators do. And we are so grateful to work with your family and to get to know your young people. Thank you.
I want to thank Mr. DeHaze, who is not here tonight, but took the time to make that video for us. On the next page, we have a list of all of the facilitators, so you can find who your facilitator is. They're available at every school, and they're there for your reference to the facilitators are there to support you and to be there for you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to them. Their emails are here, and you can also call the school or go into the school and make an appointment to meet with them. It is our pleasure to work with you. Next slide, please. We are returning to school, and we are working towards a full in-person return when the pandemic is over. We want you to be thinking about how our students might react. They've been at home for a year, and this can have serious implications for mental health or for readjusting to school. It's a bit of a roller coaster, so they might be really excited at first. I heard a student today say, "It's my favorite place." I think they're so happy to be back with us, and we are so happy to be back with them. But as time passes, things might change a little bit. They might have some emotional mood swings, so irritability, a little bit of anger possibly. Students will start to adjust and adapt. Eventually they will accept that they are back. And we just think it's important to let you know why we are focusing so much on social emotional learning here at school. It is incredibly important to our students' success in school and in social circles. So with that, I'd like to introduce social emotional learning. On the next slide, let's think about how you at home can support your students. So you can set goals with your children. Perhaps there is a music piece they would like to learn to play, or they would like to run the mile for PE in a certain time. When students set goals, they are more likely to feel successful. And when they reflect on whether they succeeded or not, of course, we can't always meet our goals, then they will feel a sense of success and recreate that time and again. It's important for us to work with teachers, counselors, and our MLL facilitators. Please communicate with them. You can use talking points, email, or phone if you're comfortable with that. Question for you families. Do you think communication is working? Is it working for you? Can you write that in the Q&A for us? If it is not, what would you like? Please let us know how we can serve you better. That is our goal. So if communication is any issue, please let us know. It's important also to, when you do communicate, share your child's interests, learning style, and past educational experiences. Maybe your child really likes to draw and it helps them to draw in their notes. Or maybe the student prefers to do some silent reading and thinking and then talk. Maybe your student would like to process the learning in his or her first language and feel a little bit more comfortable with the content before using it in English. All of these are wonderful, and it helps to communicate with the teacher in order to best serve your students. We encourage everyone to participate. Clubs and sports and summer activities will be there. So the pandemic is finishing up, and we are excited to get started with these again. We don't have information on summer school just yet, but that information will be coming out. Please do get involved at school. It makes a difference. Next slide. You may have heard about social emotional learning. Maybe you're wondering why we're spending time on this. Truly, it is a vital part of human development and education. Social emotional learning is a set of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. And with the in-person returning to school, we have changed our period 8 into a time when we're using social emotional learning so that students can readjust to school, learn how to make friends, and be appropriately social and successful in their academic lives. In the picture, you see a heart and a brain. It is the marriage of the two for a holistic human. Next slide, please. I'd like to share the 3 parts of social emotional learning. First, awareness. We can't manage or regulate our emotions without knowing what they are. Some of our students may have big, strong emotions and they don't understand what they are or why they have them. Also, their classmates might have strong emotions, and it's important for us to work together and make friends by understanding others. When we develop a sense of awareness, even empathy for others, we can develop further as people. The next slide is very important. This management piece. When our students come back, management of emotions can transform their lives. I've had students with a lot of anxiety, students who have emotional meltdowns at school, and it really helps when they can say, well, I'm feeling angry right now, and they can, or maybe I'm hungry and so I'm irritated. Once they do that, they can manage. We want to work with you on coming back to the building to rebuild tools of how students can express their feelings and learn to regulate them inside their bodies. We have increased more and more our MLL students for in-person service at school, and we are focusing on their social emotional need. There are many workshops our school counselors are providing, and we hope everyone will take part in those. So management is that really key piece. And the third piece, which is on the next slide, is the result of the awareness and the management. When they have those 2 pieces, they take action and they can be successful. So self-efficacy, you see the picture of someone climbing a mountain, and this is independence and success. It's not just important, it is very important for academics, but when we work well with others, we can have a more successful work life later on. We can have social circles, friends who support us throughout our lifetime and who we also support. We want for our students to be well-rounded, to understand how they feel and why, and to be able to manage themselves so that they will be successful human beings in whatever their dreams are, so that they can move forward and have good lives. On the next slide, please. How can we support our students? Families can support their students by modeling. As an adult, as a teacher, or as a parent, we can admit when we make mistakes. Oops, I did that wrong. We can think out loud. You know, I'm really feeling stressed out right now, so I think I need a time out. I'm going to pause for a minute. I can show them how to take deep breaths. I can think, estoy estresada en este momento, necesito tiempo para calmarme, o tengo hambre, así que estoy de mal humor. Maybe I'm hungry, so I'm in a bad mood. Notice our feelings, but we don't need to judge them. Notice that they're there. That is mindfulness. So we can practice this together. We can take a journal and write down everything we're very thankful for. This can improve our mood and make us happier, just being happy with things in our lives. I'm so happy I have you. So happy I have Bellevue School District. I am grateful for my job. I'm grateful for my family. So whatever it is in your life, if you write it down or think about and say out loud the things you're grateful for, that can help make life a little better. The Japanese have a practice called forest bathing, and walking out into the forest can be healing and help a person. And this is a way we can support just by taking walks outside, maybe walking and talking together. There is an organization called the Greater Good Science Center, and they have some really good ideas. So I encourage you to go to their website Next slide, please. We are launching student affinity leadership groups. Social emotional learning starts with students seeing themselves in school. This is something that we can offer because we want students to feel seen and heard. We know that our students' identities and cultures are important. And we have a survey that we're asking, how do you feel at school? Do the students feel supported? There are a few questions on here. Eric is going to be posting that in our Q&A. Porque el aprendizaje emocional social comienza con los estudiantes que se ven a sí mismos en la escuela. La identidad es muy importante. Their identities are important. And we hope that this leadership group that we're starting will encourage our students. Students and families have asked us, how can they thrive? How can they see themselves as leaders when they are in school, when they're applying for college or following their path? We are working closely with counselors and school administrators to bring more programs where students can lead the work that we are doing. We're going to make some affinity groups so that students have friends to connect, to lead, and to bring others along. So whether you fill out the survey now or maybe after this live Teams meeting, we would really like to hear from you. On the next slide, we have a short video about other suggestions that both teachers and parents can do to help students feel supported. Each individual matters. We are important. Our identities are important. On the next slide, here's a question for you. Help us brainstorm how parents can support social emotional learning at home. ¿Cómo pueden apoyar los padres con social emocional aprendizaje en la casa? ¿Tienen preguntas de eso? Do you have questions about that for us? Vamos a hacer una lluvia de ideas, a brainstorming session. We think families can have some of the best ideas. Your voice is important. Su voz es importante. Please tell us what you think. Next slide, please. We are here for you. There are counselors at each school. If a student is having some trouble emotionally, or they're feeling sad or depressed, or something is sticking with them and they can't get over it, it's important to ask for help. So you can contact the school counselor. There are Youth Eastside services, and there's also TeamLink. We believe strongly in mental health because our bodies, our brains, our hearts, they're all connected. And this provides for a better future, to be moving on with a clear mind and heart. On the next slide, please. How can we better engage with our students' culture in order to meet their needs? We are always trying to do better. So please tell us, how can we do this? ¿Cómo podemos comprometernos con la cultura de nuestros estudiantes? We want to meet these students' needs. We want them to feel seen and heard. What would you like to see school doing to better serve the needs of our students? Please let us know. Use the Q&A at the bottom. It says ask a question, but you can also write in an idea like a chat box. Next slide, please. Announcements and updates. In this section, I'll talk with you about testing, schedules, college and career, and graduation, the big day. Next slide. We are currently doing ELPA 21 testing. It is happening now in schools, and it will be happening until June 4th. There are 4 sections to this test: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. We promise parents everything will be in safe and sanitary conditions with at least the 3 to 6 foot distance between students, everyone wearing masks, and we are sanitizing between groups. Please contact your MLL facilitator if you have any questions. We will be switching to a different test for next year, but this test is important so that we know the level of English for each student so we can properly place them for next year. Please note that there will not be state testing. This is separate from the English language testing, and so that includes reading, math, and science. Those tests are not happening for this year. Next slide, please. Our current schedule. Right now, we have House A and House B, and they go for a half day, but of course, in the afternoons, they're still learning. This is the asynchronous time, and we do expect students to be studying, learning, maybe going to a tutorial during this time. Notice period 8 is now community. This is a community building time where we will focus on the social emotional learning piece that I've been describing in detail tonight. We are increasing in-person presence in school, but this is what our schedule is now. If anything changes, it will be posted at the BSD website. Next slide, please. It is close to summer, and summer school will be in session, but we don't have that information. We are working towards full in-person learning to be the primary model for students in the 21-22 school year. Our plans are centered around the assumption that we will be able to use that 3-foot distance for learning. And this allows all students, hopefully, to return to school full-time. We are also considering an option to provide virtual education for a limited number of students in grades 9 to 12. While our virtual education model would provide an option for students with needs that make virtual learning preferable, it would not seek to replicate the learning opportunities that take place in our schools. To facilitate this, the Bellevue School District will continue to follow recommended safety guidelines that allow us to welcome staff and students back to school communities. It is important to also plan for other aspects of the school day, week, and year, including bus routes, meal service options, staff professional development, and opportunities for additional virtual education. We look forward to sharing more information as it develops, as we look forward to the day when we can all be BSD strong together in one place once again. More information as it comes out will be posted. Next slide. So it's time in high school to start thinking about what's next. The more we ask our students about what they would like to do in the future, the more likely it is that to happen. Because if they set goals, if they start thinking, they might take actions to make those dreams come true. There are many options: college, military, the job market, working, universities, apprenticeships. There are different kinds of schools. There are technical schools, beauty schools, junior colleges, universities. So there are lots and lots of ideas. All of the high schools have a college and career center. We encourage you to visit, get some ideas, start thinking about what might be next. There is a website called Naviance that you can ask about. It will help you as students to think about what they might want to do. When we start planning early, plans are more likely to happen. Next slide. Graduation is coming up. There will be 2 graduation days on Fridays in June, June 18th at 6:30 p.m. concurrently at the same time. International High School will have its graduation at the Bellevue High School football field. Big Picture will be at the Sammamish High School football field. And on the next week, June 25th, 2021 at T-Mobile Park. Bellevue High School will start in the morning and they will go at 12:30 Sammamish, Interlake at 4, and Newport High School at 7:30 p.m. We would like to take your questions. We are here to answer them in Espanol or in English is fine, either one. We affirm your ideas, your interests, and what is important to you. Please, if you have any questions or comments, this is the time. We're going to hang on the meeting for a few minutes to see if anyone has questions, comments, or concerns to share with us at this time. While everyone is thinking, we have a Chinese proverb that we'd like to share with you. I don't want to interrupt anyone who's thinking, but we believe strongly in language and the power of engaging with one's culture and multilingualism. To learn a language is to have one more window from which to look at the world. Language broadens our view and makes us different people. We want to thank you for being here. Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Que tengan muy buena noche. We hope you have a very good night. And if there are any other questions or answers, we are here. Thank you.